Good morning, everybody. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Good morning, everybody. Testing 1. Okay, well, the mic seems to be working. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. It is Monday, the 23rd of February, 2026. I think the markets are preparing for something else. We've got a lot to get through today, but before we do, and when we talk about the charts and the price action, I'm just going to go through where I think we are. I think this is going to be a very, very volatile week, and there's many reasons for that. There's a lot of political reasons for that. You don't move half of your military halfway across Europe and the world, for that matter, to negotiate a deal. So I think there are some big things about to happen. Are they priced in? I think a lot of them are priced in. Yes, I think they are. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on. Obviously, Trump's tariffs, all that kind of stuff. But we'll get to that in a minute. What we're going to talk about today, then, apart from the X-Files, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. I'm going to show the Bitcoin chart, where I think we're going to go today or tomorrow. And I don't think we're going to go too far to the downside unless something really big happens. We're going to talk about staking ETH with the ETF. We're going to be talking about SBI paying out their rewards in XRP. We're going to be talking about an investment strategy, not financial advice, but a guide to how to invest. I think that might come in useful. We're going to look at AI infrastructure. It hasn't gone anywhere. Near Protocol, Render, FET, they're still building. They just happen to be building in silence. We're then going to be talking about 3 altcoins that are beating the bear market. And then we're going to talk about a $4.3 billion loss. I'd love you to have a guess at what meme coins I'm going to be talking about at the end of the show. So that's pretty much all we're going to be talking about today. A few good mornings to those of you in chat. Mags has arrived. Good morning to you, Mags. KB is in chat. Hidden is in chat. And I think the chat is a good barometer of the Fear and Greed Index, because I think we've got 4 or 5 people in chat, and I think Fear and Greed this morning hit 5, which is pretty incredible, really. A few good mornings as well over on Binance Square. Good morning, Thomas. Good morning, Umar. I hope you are doing incredibly well. Adil is in chat as well. I hope you're doing fine. But before we go into any of the news, Manjeet has arrived. Good morning, Manjeet. Before we do any of that, we are going to head over and have a look at the crypto prices. As I said, Fear and Greed on here is 14, but I've seen pictures of it being 5 this morning, so I don't know whether it's 14 or 5. It's still low. And remember, I made a video about this. I made a video explaining the Fear and Greed Index. And historically, is it good to buy under 20? Or is it good to sell above 70? Well, I did a video about this maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And as usual, because of the way the crypto market is, I think it's been viewed by about 50 people. So what I might do is upload it to Binance Square in the next few days so you can all have a watch of it. But basically, one of them is accurate and one of them isn't accurate. I'm going to not tell you which one that is. You can watch the video. Market cap is 2.28 trillion. Just before I came live, I was thinking to myself, where are we going to see, if we're going to really, really talk about getting into the nitty gritty of where we're going to go, hopefully we bottom in October or October time, where could we see some of these prices? Well, I think the market cap of 2 trillion is going to give way, because that's only a 10-15% drop. So I certainly think we're going to lose 2 trillion if we continue to go down. Let me premise that. Bitcoin is certainly going to go under a $1 trillion market cap, I believe. And if not go below it, we're gonna bounce off $1 trillion. Now again, that's a 30% correction. You might be thinking to yourself, Mike, it's a bit early on a Monday morning to make me sad. What is happening is not a result of this PC, and it's not a result of the internet connection, and it's certainly not a result of Binance Square. It's not a result of anywhere else. It can only be the software that we're streaming through. So what we're probably going to do is we're probably going to change software. We're probably going to move to Streamlabs in the next, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks because my internet connection is absolutely fine until we stream. So it can only be the streaming software. We've eradicated storms, although I think that did play a part. We did have a power cut last night. Yes, we had a power cut. But I just think it's the streaming software. Now, it's gone down within 5 minutes of going live. My internet's been fine since 8 o'clock this morning. So, back to where we were. I'm talking about worst case scenarios. I'm not talking about where I think we're going to go this week. We'll talk about that in a minute when we look at Bitcoin. But certainly we could see lower. So my advice is going to be dollar cost average into the coins that you like. You've got maybe 6 months to do that. They're going to go lower. Bitcoin might go down to 50,000, 55,000. Again, buying at 60, 65, buying at 50, 55, in the grand scheme of things, there's not much difference. Dollar cost averaging in is not going to really harm you. Now, I have this kind of staking rewards, and what I do with the staking rewards is I buy various different cryptos with it. And what I have done probably in the last 3 weeks is I've just started buying Bitcoin. Okay, when we go through these kinds of times where Bitcoin is coming down to really good prices, I don't see the justification to go and buy a $50 million market cap altcoin. So I'm buying Bitcoin right now. And I'm also buying Solana, or will be buying Solana, if there is anything dropped in the next 48 hours by Trump. So, gainers then, Pippin is up, Kite is up, Just Stable is up there. Now, Stable is kind of volatile at the minute, but just to put it into context, the last time we talked about Stable, I think it was at about $460 million. So it has made a gain. It is over $500 million. I don't know how much further that's going to go before it retraces again. Don't go buying everything that's in the top 24-hour gains. Remember that. Toncoin at 136. ETHFi is up. Canton. Polygon at 11 cents. It bounced off 10 cents, I think, or 9.5 cents. We're really just rattling around between various different things. The price of Solana, the price of XRP, the price of Cardano, the price of BNB, they're not really moving. Bitcoin is ranging, but it's just Groundhog Day. It's absolutely Groundhog Day right now. Losers then, Pump.Fun is down, Layer Zero is down, Mantle, Solana, Injective, Lighter. Again, I wouldn't look at the 24-hour gainers and say I'm going to go and buy all of these. But there are, and I do say this quite a lot, I know, but there are bargains to be had. When you look at the 7-day and the 24 hours, and you see which coins have been on the slide for some time, there are some good coins down here. We've been talking about $22, $23, $24 for Hype. It took a while to break $30. It's at $28. I don't hold any Hype, but is it going to slide down towards $20, $22, $24? I think it might do. Another one down there is Dupe. Now, Dupe passed its DAO vote, which I told you all about a week ago. They are not going to emit any more tokens. They've put a stop to dupery. It's gone. They're now going to be spending a vast majority of their revenue on buying back the token. I think we are going to be looking at a bottom for Dupe at 480 million, 500 million, around about there. I'm expecting that to start to go up quite considerably over the next probably 6-12 months. So again, they're gainers and losers. Not going to spend too much time talking about that. This really is a week of volatility, as I said at the start. And the reason is not so much what I'm showing you now. This is the Market Watch, the US economic calendar. Really, what you need to draw your eyes to is Thursday, jobless claims, and Friday is inflation. So Thursday and Friday this week, both going to signify some kind of volatility. We've got problems in Iran. We have problems in Mexico. Mexico on the border. Guadalajara, I believe, is one of the World Cup venues. I don't know who in their right mind decided that it was a good idea. I really don't know. So we don't know what's going to go on there. And again, more uncertainty. We don't know whether America is going to go into Mexico. We don't know what's going to happen in Iran. We don't know whether it's pressure or Trump calling bluff. We've then got the tariff situation where the tariffs are up in the air. He's put it up from 10 to 15%. There's winners such as China. There's losers such as the UK and other countries. It's all a bit messy. So don't forget when you look at Bitcoin or your favorite alt that the macro changes it. Now, I think Friday is going to come in hot. I think the PPI is going to come in hot on Friday because I think the previous inflation data last week, I think that came in hot, didn't it? And I think growth was down as well. So the economy isn't all rosy, and I think it might weigh a little bit on the markets. But if there is a deal in place in Iran, if Mexico sorts itself out and stops burning down all the Costcos, then maybe we are on for a good week, which we'll talk about in a minute. Now then, I tweeted this out yesterday. Within the next 2 weeks, we will have less than 1 million Bitcoin left to mine. Let that sink in. Now, I've been following Bitcoin for a very long time. I think this is my 10th year, 9th or 10th year. I can't remember if it was 2016 or 2017. I don't have a great memory. But we followed Bitcoin for a long time. To get to the stage where we're going to have less than 1 million Bitcoin left to mine, I mean, that's pretty much it. Because the next halving and the next halving after that, we're going to be mining 2 and then 1, and then we're going to be down to less than 1 Bitcoin per block. So it's like the end of a journey, if you know what I mean. It's kind of quite a sad thing to get to know there's only going to be 1 million Bitcoin ever left to mine. And of course, don't forget, the difficulty is going to get so hard towards the end that we're never going to mine 21 million blocks. We're probably going to get down to 20,998,700 or something like that. But there are only 7,000 to go to get below 1 million. Now, at 450 a day, that's by my reckoning about 15 or 16 days. So I've said 2 weeks. I think we're about there. So it's a sad day, sad time. You followed it all along. You can say you were there when we were still mining Bitcoin and there was still 1 million Bitcoin left to mine. Again, another notch in the history books. Now then, Bitcoin miner sells entire Bitcoin treasury. Now, Bitdeer have come out and explained this. They sold all their Bitcoin holdings, which is about 1,000, 1,200, whatever it might be. They've explained this today. They are looking at new sites to build mining farms. So they need capital to go and buy that land and then build the factories. And they've come out and said this. So they are selling now, and probably advisable because, again, one of the elements of a bear market is the capitulation of the miners. That happens every cycle as well. Now, however we wrap this up, looking for land, investing in new miners, whatever it may be, however we wrap this up, they've sold all their Bitcoin. There's no other way to look at it other than that. But it doesn't mean they think Bitcoin is finished. They're buying it to reinvest. Now, why are they selling at this particular time? Maybe they expect the market to go down another 10 or 20%. So they are going to sell their Bitcoin, buy more land, and increase their hash rate. So long term, very bullish on Bitdeer, but I do think they're getting an awful lot of flack for this. They're perfectly entitled to sell their Bitcoin, by the way. The same as Vitalik is perfectly entitled to sell his Ethereum. There is no rule book that says you can't sell. White House crypto advisor Patrick Witt says we're close, expects the Clarity Act to pass by March the 1st. Now, I did bring up I was going to link to the Clarity Act and start to go through it. And then I realised that I don't think people are in the mood to read the Clarity Act. So we're not going to go through the Clarity Act live today because I do think, if we were at 150,000, it'd be fun to go through the Clarity Act. I think we're at 66,000 and people are sick of the worst correction in Bitcoin's history. I don't think it's the right time to start reading new laws. Now then, Ondo. The tokenization era is underway. The SEC has set new stablecoin rules in the US, and this is kind of a breakdown, a very good breakdown that they have put up. The SEC clears the way for broker-dealers to hold stablecoins as working capital, US banks to test deposit token network, State Street launches digital asset platform, BNP Paribas taps Ethereum for new money market fund, Ondo is the first to adopt Fidelity's Center for Applied Text DVN. Now again, we can sit here and say crypto is finished as much as we want. You can go and watch that idiot on Kick telling you that he was so right about Bitcoin. Oh, it's finished. It's just numbers on a decentralized ledger, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you can listen to a 20-year-old retard, or you can listen to the sensible people. It's entirely up to you. I am not here to give you financial advice. You can go and listen to him, or you can listen to the clever people. Could crypto be a failed project at this stage? I don't think so. Can many of the blockchains that exist be failed projects? Absolutely. But crypto as a market, I think, has gone past the stage now of, is it going to work or not? I think we're at the stage of, how do we best implement it to generate the best life for you, basically. Not necessarily for the men in suits. They've always had the best life, but for the best life for you. Now, again, we've had, and I did this again in the video, we've had the 12-month 2021-2022 drop. We've had that 12-month drop in 4 months. Bitcoin is at the level I thought it was going to get to at the bottom of the bear market, which is previous all-time high. Covered that on Friday. But this is another really solid piece of terrible news. Bitcoin is about to print a 7-year record. If February ends in the red, it will be Bitcoin's longest run of consecutive monthly declines in 7 years. We will have put in 5 red months. Not only that, this is the worst February, this will be the worst quarter for about 8 years as well. There's a few... I'm going to go and get that software today. That's the second time in 20 minutes. Again, we're putting in unwanted records as we come down. But I said a couple of weeks ago, everything feels bottomy. And I still hold by this, that it feels bottomy. And the reason it feels bottomy is when you start to get people talking about $10,000 and $20,000 Bitcoin, when you start to see people saying it's a failed project, when you start to see all these things, that's normally a bottom signal for me. And we had this with the top, and again, we covered this a few weeks ago, where people were sending me messages on Facebook and WhatsApp, how do I buy Bitcoin, how do I buy Ethereum? And that was a top signal, because that all happened in October as well. I don't know whether all of this is a bottom signal. Anyway, moving on. Right. Arthur Hayes, my portfolio right now, stocks, he's got gold, silver, copper, uranium miners, oil majors, merchants of death, blah, 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 crypto and physical gold, what you got, fam. And he lists 4 cryptocurrencies there, Bitcoin, Ethereum, ZEC, and Hype. Now, this is where selective memory comes in. We publish, as Crypto Warehouse that is, our list of cryptocurrencies. I've published them within the last 3 months. I've shown you everything I've got. I've even shown you, I think I've shown you the weightings of what we've got. We tell you what alts we're going to buy. Now, we are no saints. We're going to get things wrong. Of course we are. But we try to be transparent. Now, what Arthur Hayes has done here is he's listed what I would say are the top 2 plus 2 of the biggest runners maybe in the last 12 months. And unfortunately for Arthur Hayes, people remember what he posts. Arthur omitted ENA from his portfolio list today. Crypto picks are Bitcoin, ETH, blah, blah, blah. He was all in bullish on it through 2025 and into January 2026, calling for $1, $1.50 and $10. Buy ENA and Yahtzee vibes. No mention since then, so likely trimmed or rotated. This is not a dig at Arthur Hayes. This is what your favorite crypto influencer will do. He will basically new software and hopefully fix this problem today. I really don't know what the issue is. I might try and go and swap out some network cables, see if it's the network cables, see if it's a Wi-Fi problem, and then just try and get this fixed, because this is atrocious. I think I'm back. Let me just check. Let me just do a quick refresh. I think I'm back. Let me close this down. Yes. Okay. As I said, I'm going to go and try and fix this this internet problem at some point. So basically, all I'm saying is this is not a dig at Arthur Hayes. All I'm pointing out to you is keep a record of who your favorite influencer is telling you to invest in. There is a change in the rules on X, by the way, which is going to happen probably. Let's make sure I am live. Yeah. Probably in the next week or so, you're going to have to declare what sponsors you're partnered with. So if you're partnered with Sui or Say or any of these big projects, you're now going to have to say that on your stream or on your X posts, by the way. So that's a positive as far as I'm concerned for the industry. I'm not a massive fan of selective memory as far as that kind of stuff is concerned. Which is why we tell you what we hold. Simple as that. Now, am I full screen or can you see what I am doing? Perfect. There we go. Lovely. Right, Bitcoin price may rebound to $85,000 as the CME smart money slashes shorts. This was obviously put up yesterday before we had the correction to the downside. There's a lot of people talking about $85,000 because there's a massive CME gap there. It's too far away. It's 30% to the upside. We're not going to close that CME gap anytime soon. But they've slashed bearish Bitcoin bets, a shift that preceded a 70% rally in 2025 and a 190% increase in 2023. I don't see this. I know KB was fairly bullish on Friday. I know the Oracle said we were going to go up and then come down. I know all of these things. I'm just not feeling it right now. And I don't think conflict is going to help. I don't think tariffs not being imposed is going to help. I don't think companies being advised to sue Trump is going to help. So I just don't see any of this helping, really, if I'm honest. But anyway, let's just carry on. So Bitcoin futures technicals hint at $85,000 price. Non-commercial Bitcoin futures traders cut their position to about 1,600 contracts from 1,000 a month earlier, according to the CFTC Commitment of Traders report. So this is the net long and net short ratio. So there's a more positive inclination in the market right now. And I think the lower we go, the more inclination we're going to see that people are going to start to long. My issue is, again, we have a lot of unknowns, and unknowns can lead to the downside. In practice, it means large speculators, including hedge funds and similar financial institutions, have shifted from short to long, with bulls outnumbering bears on the CME. The rapid net short unwind implies that smart money added longs with some urgency, said Tom McClellan, while pointing to two similar past swings that preceded Bitcoin's price bottoms. I wouldn't read anything into this whatsoever, in my opinion. There is nothing in my waters which indicates that we are going to go to $85,000 in the very near term. Now, hopefully this is all going to work, and we are going to be able to show you this. Now, the lines on the chart here, which I'm about to move now, this is probably the top line we're going to get to, which is $88,000. We're not going to get there anytime soon. I think what we need to try and hold is this, which is somewhere around $60,000. Now, in a shock, I mean, we've had shock before. Remember when Israel did that thing with Iran? Okay, with a bit of a shock to the downside. I'm expecting something similar. So I think we could break $60,000 on a wick, I think. There's no way the markets are not going to react to anything like that. Now, Trump said this on, I think, was it the 19th or no, it was the 15th of February. The 15th of February, he said we've got 10 to 15 days to sort this out. That's the 25th to the 2nd of March, I think, around that range. So Wednesday onwards, we could see some kind of action in Iran. That's basically where we are. And again, there's volatility everywhere you look, yes. But I think that could be a few wicks to the downside. I'm not saying that we stay there. We're probably going to see some kind of very quick reaction to it, yes. But I do think it will happen. So, and again, I don't want to talk too much about the charts because I think the Oracle is live at 2 o'clock. So it's 11:30 now, our time. The Oracle is live in 2.5 hours' time. I think we could see downside. And I think we could see bombs being dropped and I could see conflict. But I think it's going to be quick conflict. It's not an invasion. It's going to be an airstrike. So I think that's going to cause problems, number one. I don't think the tariff situation, I think it's a bit of a nothing burger. Trump has come out and said that he's going to use some kind of act to push through the tariffs. That's a bit of a nothing burger. I think the Clarity Act coming out in a week's time, maybe that signals a bottom. But I'm always wary when we have these kind of things going on to say that we're going to go to $85,000. We're not going to go to $80,000. We might go down to $60,000. Now, the other thing I've got on here, just to put things into context, is this line here, which is coming in at about 50,600. That's my 2026 bear market bottom, which I thought we would get to never. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I made a video about this. This is the bottom. October, I think, again, it's just my guess. I think we bottom a year after the top. So I think October, maybe September. That's when we bottom. Now, what I said quite recently in another one of my videos is I think we have a relief rally and then we come down and then we wobble around and then maybe we come back up. Something like that. I haven't changed my opinion. I do think we are due a relief rally. We don't get a relief rally if bombs are getting dropped. Humble opinion. If there is a peace deal on Wednesday or Thursday this week, if there is a Clarity Act passed on the 1st of March, which is whatever day that might be, then I think we could come up. We could go back to 74,000 at least. But how are we supposed to sit here and give you any kind of indication of any of those things? Because these, the Clarity Act is not a major global event, but Iran is a major global event. We don't know. We also have the situation going on in Eastern Europe, which is supposed to be coming to a peace deal as well. So we have a lot going on. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market. And believe you me, if Iran was signed a peace deal, if Russia and Ukraine sign a peace deal, and if the Clarity Act is passed and it's favourable towards stable coins, we'd be in a much healthier situation. But not all three of those things are going to happen. Very unlikely. Are they priced in? Is this priced in? The Iraq thing? Maybe. Maybe it is. But I do think 60,000 is looking very, very tasty right now. And that's simply because it's my next level down. And I think if we do go down, I think as a psychological support line, I think 60,000 would hold. But then again, saying that, I don't even think 70,000 touched the sides, did it? We came straight through 70,000 and now we can't get back above it. Anyway, so I'm short term, very bearish, but very short term, maybe the next 2 weeks, bearish. But I do think we get that relief rally, and I'm going to hang my hat on that. I'm going to put my reputation on it. We're going to get a relief rally. We might not get back to the bull market support band, which is currently 88,000. So that 85,000 CME gap play could happen. Maybe we get that. Maybe the futures guys are correct. But it's just a long way from where we are. A long way from where we are. But crypto can change at the drop of a hat. Remember, we did a $10,000 wick. We do a $10,000 wick in the opposite direction. We're at 76,000. People are feeling a lot happier. And again, emotions are running high. Crypto Twitter is full of very, very young people who are not coping very well with this kind of stuff. Good morning, Bullish Bull. I hope you are well. And whilst we have been live, I would just like to point out that somebody has created a fake. Somebody has created what appears to be a fake Telegram group. Anyway. Here is what you need to know about BlackRock's upcoming staked Ethereum ETF. This is so late. I remember saying last year, if this goes live, it pushes Ethereum above $5,000. But it's all about timing. I said this at the beginning of last year. We needed the XRP and Solana ETFs by the summer. We didn't get them by the summer. We needed staking ETFs before the end of the bull run. We didn't get them before the end of the bull run. We're now talking about a staked Ethereum ETF in March, after the bull run. It's not, in my opinion, going to make a massive difference. In my opinion. And again, I could be wrong. Let me go back to here. Just keeping an eye on the stream. If you're wondering why I'm looking to the side quite a lot, it's because the stream isn't hanging up very well today. And I'm just making sure we are actually live all the time. So I'm not normally this distracted, but we're having so many problems. I'm going to basically go and get a new set of hardware tools to make sure we work. That seems to be frozen. We're not frozen, are we? Give me 1 second. Bullish Bull, is the fake group more bullish on crypto? Possibly. Let me just check. I've just got to check the stream's working. This is, I mean, there we go. Yeah, we are. We're working. Okay, fine. Happy days. Yeah, I think they are more bullish. All working. Listen, I'm really sorry about these problems, but we've eliminated everything it could possibly be except the streaming software. It can only be the streaming software. I can't understand what else it could be. We've got fiber where I am right now. We have a gigabyte or whatever it might be of fiber. So it's not that. Who knows? I'm just making sure that I am actually live. Right then. So, we're not going to read too much about this because it's not really relevant. I just wanted to basically go through the fact that timing is everything in crypto. And this Ethereum ETF going live now, long term, is massively bullish for Ethereum. Solana, what else do we have coming on board that's proof of stake? Probably Kronos is going to be proof of stake as well. Chainlink isn't, Litecoin isn't, Hedera I don't think is. I don't actually know what others would benefit from it. BNB isn't really. So I think it's basically going to benefit, of the big ones, it's going to benefit Solana and Ethereum. And long term, this is a great sell. Second biggest crypto asset. Buying this at $1,400, $1,300, $1,200 per coin. Staking rewards as well at the same time thrown in. You're getting a double reward when we start to see a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 Ethereum again. You're going to do a 300% increase on your money. You're going to get 3% on top of that as well. I mean, this is one of those generational wealth style moments, if you've got the money, of course. So I think this is massively bullish on Ethereum in the long run. The question is, does this make this a better ETF than the Bitcoin ETF in maybe over the next 4 or 5 years? Would you consider the Ethereum ETF to be better than a Bitcoin ETF? Well, Ethereum ETF has staking rewards, number one. If we were to talk about 5Xs, is Bitcoin likely to go to $330,000 first, or is Ethereum likely to go to $9,500 first? And my argument would be Ethereum is likely to go to $9,500 before Bitcoin goes to $330,000. Because even at a $200,000 Bitcoin, Ethereum at $9,500 is still, on the Bitcoin Ethereum ratio, still below 0.05. So I think that's achievable. So you've got to say to yourself, which one from this moment in time now, which one is desirable? This one. But I would say it was 60-40. Now, let's look at a scenario where Bitcoin goes to $50,000 and Ethereum goes to $1,200. And then run that idea again. You're going to 8x on Ethereum to go to 9,500. Are you going to 8x Bitcoin to get to 400,000? No. So I think the only real challenger in terms of ETFs to Bitcoin right now would be the Ethereum ETF. Now, going below $50, going below $40 on Solana, then Solana enters the chat. But I think I'm really bullish on the Ethereum ETFs. I really, really am. And I don't hold any, full disclosure. Ethereum is my second largest holding behind Bitcoin. So I'm still technically a Bitcoin max as far as that's concerned. But you've got to look at risk reward. And risk reward for me is the lower Ethereum goes, the lower Bitcoin goes, the more depressed the market goes, the better the opportunity is for you to get in. And maybe you look at the fact that you're on Binance right now. You don't need the ETF. Well, fine, you don't need the ETF. You go and get yourself a $1,200 or $1,300 Ethereum and you stake it on Binance. That's what you do. You replicate the ETF within Binance, and that's how you win. Because staking it, let's say you get it at $1,500. Let's say it only goes to $7,500. Let's say it only goes to $6,000 in the next bull run. From $1,500, you've 400% increase on your portfolio, and you are getting your 3%, 4%, whatever you're getting. I think it becomes a good second portfolio addition. If you're only in Bitcoin, for me, I would go and get Solana, BNB, and Ethereum, and then maybe a bit of XRP. Get the top assets first. That's what I would go with. Now, this is quite an interesting one. SBF Holdings launches 10 billion yen blockchain bond with XRP rewards. You heard it right. XRP rewards. Investors will earn fixed interest plus XRP rewards tied to their subscription amount. This must be a world first. I don't know anyone that's ever paid out XRP on anything. So Japanese financial conglomerate SBI Holdings is introducing a blockchain-based bond offering for retail investors, blending traditional fixed income returns with cryptocurrency incentives. The new issuance, called the SBI Start Bonds, totals 10 billion yen, about $64.5 million, and will be recorded and managed on-chain using the iBet4Fin platform developed by enterprise blockchain firm Boostry. What a great name. The 3-year securities carry an indicative annual yield of 2 and a bit%, with interest paid twice a year. In addition to fixed returns, eligible investors will get XRP token rewards. Retail buyers and companies investing at least $650 and holding an account with SBI VC Trade qualify for the program. Again, don't want to talk too much about this. It's not super important because you're not in Japan. But I like this for more than one way. If we want to get people into crypto, now is the perfect time. Markets are down, sentiment is down, prices are down. Now, I know a lot of people out there like Hype and like Sui and like those coins more than maybe they like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Why doesn't what do they call them now? A Web3, a neobank. Why don't they have a system whereby you put in $1,000 and we're not allowed to pay you interest on it because of the Genius Act or whatever other acts come about. But what we can do is we can reward you in XRP, or we can reward you in Hype. So if you hold $1,000 with us, every year we will give you 2 Hype tokens. Every year we will give you 40, 50 XRP tokens. We would then be bringing in all of these people into crypto who know nothing about crypto, and we're going, I've got these Hype tokens. What's Hype? What's XRP? What's Solana? What's Ethereum? I think this is a really good way of onboarding people. because not necessarily they're not all going to go out and sell the XRP, but the fact that they will actually look at it, especially if SBA or who else does it? Say Robinhood or Revolut started paying these out as interest rewards. It would give people an opportunity to go and look at a fact sheet and say, oh, look, this is the computer of the blockchain, or this is the payment gateway of the blockchain, or this is the retail portal of the blockchain. And I think this is absolute genius. I do like this idea an awful lot. So I do. It's like giving people free tickets to Disneyland or Alton Towers. It gets them in the door. That's all you want. You just want to get them in the door. Once you've got them in the door, it's like the gateway drug. How did you get into crypto? I got some free XRP tokens from Robinhood. I got some free hype tokens from Revolut. It's a great way of getting people into crypto. And more importantly, they're solid projects. It's not like an airdrop of $5 worth of moo cow, okay, which is going to go to zero. These are solid projects. Bitcoin is the same. Pay people in Bitcoin. But I think the issue with Bitcoin is you'd be paying out fractions. And people would look at it and go, even if they got $50 worth of Bitcoin, they'd be like, I've got 0.00005 Bitcoin. It's not really worth it. Whereas if you're paying people 5, 10, 20 XRP, it just, I don't know, psychologically good. Now, how to earn yield in a crypto winter, adjusting crypto savings strategies for 2026. Haven't covered one of these in about 2 years. And I think one of the most important things you can learn in crypto is risk management. And risk management is you can be in the best gang in crypto. You can be in the best NFT project in crypto or the best token in crypto. You can be in that. But if 100% of your entire crypto worth is in that project, then you're an idiot. Okay? I don't care who you are. Michael Saylor, I'd say the same thing to him. You cannot put all of your coins into some token that your mate told you was going to 1000x. You can't put all of your money, into a token that some guy in a beanie hat and a goatee beard tells you is going to 1000x. It's not how it works. So risk management is one of the most important things you can learn, and diversification. Now, you'll hear Michael Saylor say, if you've got the most pristine asset in the world and you diversify away from that, then you're actually doing yourself a disservice. You should just be all in on Bitcoin. Okay? Now, yes, I totally agree, but not 100% of your portfolio should even be in Bitcoin. Okay? The most you should have is maybe 80-85%. Yes, that's for Bitcoin, but certainly not Ethereum or Solana or XRP or BNB. You never go all in. You never go full retard from the film. Now, there are some things down here which you've heard me talk about. I'm blue in the face, number one, and number two, you're sick and tired of me saying the same things. I know Mags is out there, and Mags has heard this 1,000 times, okay? And I know Mags has heard this 1,000 times, but it's a mantra, and it's a set of rules that you should live by. And these aren't rules for crypto. These are rules that have come from stocks and shares and bonds and commodities. These are the rules you have to play by. The number one rule is preserve capital. If you have $10,000 that you've put into crypto, and let's say you put it in at the all-time high of Bitcoin, which was 126,000. Now, the worst you should be down is maybe 50-60% from where we are now. Because if you're in the Bitcoin, if you're in the Ethereum, if you're in XRP, Solana, those kind of things, and you're in it in the right kind of break, you're going to be down 50-60%. If you have gone full degen mode and bought every meme coin and every AI, every sub $100 million market cap coin, you're going to be down 95%. Now, preserve capital is your number one goal. Hold on to what you've got. Now, I'm going to give you probably a finger in the air. I am down, I think, 50% from the top. Okay? And there's a couple of reasons for that. I've been dollar cost averaging in on the way down, so it's topped back up a little bit. But I'm down about 50%. I'm not down 90% because I think 50-60% of my entire crypto net worth is in Bitcoin. So as far as I am concerned, my preserving capital is Bitcoin because I want skin in the game. I'm not going to sit here and talk to you about crypto and not have any money in crypto. Now, is it my net worth? No. I have twice as much money as I have in crypto in a bank account earning me 3.5%, maybe 4% actually. Okay, and it's in government bonds. So it's pretty much as safe as I can get it. Preserving capital. I have property, preserving capital. It doesn't really go up, it doesn't really come down. There's not going to be a house price crash. There's not going to be a crash in office space, stuff like that. So my preserved capital is based on finding things that don't collapse overnight or go down 90%. That's what preserved capital is about. You can do that also by maintaining a stablecoin reserve. So before, when I said you should have 85-90% maximum, if you're Bitcoin heavy, okay, and by the way, Michael Saylor does not have 100% of their money in Bitcoin because they also have cash on the side. The reason you have stablecoin reserve is to buy the dip. And you don't buy the dip in one go. You use the following strategy, which is dollar cost averaging. So I am buying at this moment in time 2.5 tokens. I'm buying Bitcoin with my staking interest. I'm buying Solana with stable coins I've got on the side. So if Solana goes to $75 this week, we buy more Solana. When it went below $90, we bought more Solana, and I think I even put it into chat. It was only about $300 or something like that. I'll buy another $300 at 75. I'll buy another $300 at 65. I'll buy another $300 at 55. That's how I'm going to play Solana. With Bitcoin, my interest is going into Bitcoin, and I'm dollar cost averaging in. And if I have to dollar cost average in for the next 5 years, I will dollar cost average in for the next 5 years. We're talking about a finite asset. Not gold that can be dug out of the ground, not oil that can be pumped out of the ground, not silver, not platinum. It's finite. So Bitcoin should always be your number one, but you dollar cost average into it. Mags could put 10 euros a month into Bitcoin, and he could do that for 10 years, and Mags would have a far higher return over that 10-year period than maybe putting it into gold or putting it into the price of oil or putting into the S&P. Then you've got behavioral risks. This is to do with something which I call emotional trading. I've called it that, by the way, for about, probably about 25 years. I made that up. I don't know if it exists. Emotional trading is where there's a sell-off in the market for no reason, or there's a sell-off in the market because one company has done something, and then all of the other companies get sold off at the same time. Rolls-Royce was a perfect example. Rolls-Royce crashed because they lost a deal with Russia, which was, I think, 1% of their annual turnover. Go and look it up. It was a long time ago. And I bought Rolls-Royce at that time. I think it was about 300 pence a share. Don't know what it is today. It's when the market reacts irrationally. That's when you trade. You trade against it. You don't trade with it. If there is let's say all hell breaks loose this week and Bitcoin goes down to $45,000 because everyone's just firing rockets at everybody else. Long term, does all of that going on affect the price of Bitcoin? No, not in the long term. So you buy. But you buy against the emotional sellers. You are taking advantage of them wetting the bed. They are weak. They are yellow-bellied. They are panicked, okay? We're not going to talk about the French because that's not fair, but you get what I'm talking about. You trade against emotional people. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go to $1 million. I'm not saying it's going to go to $500,000. What I'm saying is Bitcoin at $60, $66, $55, $50,000 is an exceptionally good price to buy Bitcoin. Now, let's say it goes to $45,000, and then let's say it only ever goes back to $126,000, $127,000. You could potentially almost 3x your money within the next 3 or 4 years. So even if we just go back to all-time highs, you've made 300% return. You put $10,000 in, you got $30,000. Where are you going to find that other than maybe AI stocks, tech stocks? It's a really good possible way of you making life-changing money. Anyway, we're not going to talk about stuff like this, but again, we don't want to talk about the fact that they are advertising their products. But again, holding in stable coins is not the same anymore. Holding in stable coins like USDC is probably not the best way to do it. There are stable coins that pay you interest. You can stake on Binance. You can make a return on your stable coins. So make sure you go and have a look at that. And if you're sitting on $1,000 on the side, paying you 6%, 5%, it's making you $1 a week. That's $1 a week more of Bitcoin for you to think about. Don't think about the really big numbers, because the really small numbers make you the really big numbers. Don't sit there and say, if I've got $1,000 and I 1,000x it, I'm going to make $1 million. You might have to compound your $1,000 50, 60, 70, 100 times to get to that. Don't just think one day you can put $100 into something and make $1 million. It doesn't work. This is not get rich quick. This is get rich very slowly. Now, you can get rich in a bull run, but you make your wealth in a bear market. You dollar cost averaging in these prices. We had the same conversation in 2023 when we were talking about buying XRP at whatever it was, 30, 35 cents. We are now at $1.40. Okay, we did quite well. Now, I don't know what we talked about with Cardano. I don't know if we talked about Cardano at 20 cents, but we were talking about Cardano at the same in the same time period. Now we're at 30 cents now. We're only up 50%. Yes, but that's why you diversify. That's why you have multiple different assets in your portfolio, because some of them will outperform. My portfolio has done exceptionally well, apart from one project, which was Polygon. That has let me down. Everything else has gone exceptionally higher. Now then, how long do we have left, by the way? We've got 6 minutes, and we are doing okay. We haven't gone down for a while, have we? We haven't crashed. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to fix it. I'm going to try and fix it. First thing I'm going to do is go and buy some new network cables. Then I'm going to go and buy another router, or a switch, sorry, and I'm going to try it. And I might do a test stream this afternoon, or maybe tomorrow's stream will be a test stream. Now, decentralized AI compute networks, how Bitenza, Render, and Akash are building the AI infrastructure layer. Again, I think that we shouldn't take our eye off some of these projects. I've got Near, by the way. I'm fully on Near and FET. Haven't changed my opinion on them. Yes, they're down 90%. Haven't changed my opinion on those two. But let's go through this first. So AI workloads depend on GPU, as we all know. So these providers now need to build GPU infrastructure. Bitenza, Render, and Akash. They're the three that this is focusing on. Bitenza focuses on decentralized machine learning rather than raw compute rental. Render originated in distributed GPU rendering for graphics and visual effects. I think they were partnered with Apple at one point. And Akash provides a decentralized cloud marketplace where providers offer compute resources and users deploy workloads through blockchain-based contracts. So all in the same industry, but in slightly different areas. And again, one of the things that we talk, going back to the portfolio thing we were just talking about, one of the other things to do, which again I don't think is a bad idea, if you think AI is going to be the big thing, you create an AI portfolio, and maybe you hold 3, 4, or 5 AI tokens in that. If you think real world assets are going to be the big thing, you go out and you buy something like Ondo, you buy Syrup, you maybe even look at likes of Pendle and Morpho. You look at those kind of projects and you build yourself a bag of them. Okay. Now, I classify that bag as one part of your portfolio. So if you're going to allocate 5% of your portfolio to AI, for example, each of these on your screen now, plus NEAR plus FET, for example, each one would be 1% of your portfolio. You don't suddenly put 5% into everything. So if you've got $100 and you're going to put $5 into AI, each one of these on the screen now would get $1 of that. That's how I would play it. The same with real world assets. So you could say, well, I need real world asset tokens. Well, go and get 5 or 6. I need AI. Well, go and get 5 or 6. But treat them as independent portfolios so you can keep a track on them. And also remember, you don't want 50 or 60 cryptos, because how do you keep up with the appointments, the developments and stuff like that? It's very, very difficult. But anyway, I think the move to AI was never going to be quick. It was going to have its explosive start. People were always going to go on about the fact that AI is going to be the next big thing. To get AI to work, you have to build a lot. You do have data centers around the world, but that's what they are. They're data centers, they're servers, they're things like that. They're not strictly for AI. What you do have is you've got Bitcoin mining data centers, which could be used depending if the configurations are right. They could be used for AI, of course. But what you are seeing in the background, and we've talked about this before with World Liberty Financial, they are partnered with a mining company. I think it's called American something mining or something, but they're also partnered with an AI infrastructure company. And from my very window here, I can see where the AI data center is going to be built, and Trump is going to own a share of that AI data center. It's a $1 billion project, or £1 billion project. They're doing quite a few of them around the world. Think about the length of time it takes to go from AI is the next big thing to building those data centers. 2, 3, 4 years, maybe. A lot can happen in that time, but these things take time. Now, again, the other thing to bear in mind, it's a new industry. There's a very good chance that Akash and Render get overtaken and disappear, and Potenza is the one that wins. There's a very good chance that Render wins and the rest of them die. There's a very good chance none of these AI projects that we have today will be around in 5 years' time. There's a very good chance of that happening, because within crypto, you have very specific niches. As we've talked about real world assets, we've got AI. Of course, we can't forget memes. We have all of these things. So just bear in mind, not everything you see today, there may be an AI project launched next year, which will be the biggest AI project that's ever been. There's a damn good chance of that happening, but there isn't much chance of, say, somebody challenging Chainlink, or somebody challenging Binance, or somebody challenging some of the other more established businesses. But AI isn't established. AI is still in its infancy, as is real world assets. I was going to do something on real world assets today, but I didn't have enough time. And basically, we're looking at billions and small numbers of billions of assets in Web3 that have been ported over from Web2. It's so early. There's probably room for another 5 or 6 big real-world asset players on top of the ones we've got. So these niches are so young. You know, I know Bitcoin is only, 14, 15, 16 years old, but these are 2 years old. It takes a long time to do stuff like this properly. Now, 3 altcoins. I'm not going to get to the next article because I'm running out of time, aren't I? Good morning, Kishan. I hope you are well. There is a fake Telegram group, I think, that's been created while we were live. Be aware. Right, so this is the 3 coins which are allegedly the ones to go to that are not acting like they're in a bear market. Bitcoin Cash. I've no idea why this coin is still going, but it is. It's up 80% in a year. It's still going. People are just buying it, and I don't know why. Maybe there is an announcement about it. Maybe they're going to get their own ETF. Who knows? I won't touch Bitcoin Cash, so we're not going to talk about that one. We haven't got a lot of time. Morpho, yes, I would certainly look at Morpho. They've had an investment recently, haven't they? On February the 13th, Apollo Global Management, which oversees nearly $940 billion in assets, committed to acquiring up to 90 million Morpho tokens, 9% of the total supply over time. This creates steady buying pressure and validates Morpho's role in institutionalized, decentralized finance. Yes, I would buy Morpho. I think they're a solid project. But again, whenever I mention the word buy, I'm talking about buying whatever allocation is right for your portfolio. I don't mean go and put 10% of your portfolio into Morpho. Everything comes within that breakdown. Decred, which we kind of cover because they're always in the top, losers or gainers. The token is up 93% year on year and 61% year to date, making it a strong performer in the group. Even in the past 24 hours, Decred has gained 10%. Part of the strength comes from its recent treasury upgrade, which improved how the network funds its own growth and reinforced long-term investor confidence. I don't know enough about Decred. I know plenty about Bitcoin Cash, and I know plenty about Morpho. Now, what I would say about Bitcoin Cash is I got airdropped that when there was a hard fork from Bitcoin. That's how long ago I got Bitcoin Cash, and I sold all of it. Right then, I am done. What I'm going to go do now is go out and get myself a switch, get myself a network cable, and try and fix some of these problems. Again, it's so intermittent. It's only happened 2 or 3 times, and it all happened 5 past 11, 17 minutes past 11, and I don't know when the last one was. But we have these periods where we just run perfectly smooth. I don't know what the issue is. Anyway, thank you, KB, Kishan, Bullish, Mags, Danny, thank you for coming. Thank you to the crowd which are over on Binance. I will be live. Now, I was actually going to show you this before we go. Hang on. I need to show you this before I go. The Oracle is changing his stream time. So this is the Oracle. Okay? He is streaming at 2 o'clock, which is in 2 hours from now. He is streaming. Okay? So if you want to know really about the charts, it's not come up, has it? There we go. So the Oracle is streaming here. And this is going to be at 2 p.m. Exactly 2 hours from now, he will be streaming. He'll be covering Bitcoin. He'll be covering Ethereum. He'll be covering World Liberty Financial Token. He'll be doing Sol, maybe Syrup as well. So if you want your chart fix, that's the one to go and look at. Now, I am back. Could be any extensions in the browser. Do you know it could be? It could be an extension in the browser. I tell you when it happens, KB. When I load a website, so if I'm on Twitter and I go over to CoinMarketCap, it dies. It doesn't die with me sitting here talking to you. It dies with the browser. What I could maybe try is a different browser tomorrow. Maybe I could try that. I've always had browser problems. You'll go back to the times when I had no memory and it was browser problems then. Anyway, well, I'll see you then, KB. I'm still gonna go and get the cables, and just see if that's an issue. The problem I've got is there's no error log, so I can't see exactly why it's not working. But anyway, you're all lovely people. If you don't follow us, follow us. Okay, make sure you follow us. I think we're nearly at 12,000 on Binance Square, which I think, considering we only started Christmas time, or maybe a little bit before Christmas, to get to 12,000 followers in 3 or 4 months over on Binance Square is pretty great. We're pretty grateful of that. So thank you to everybody that's here, and I will see you all tomorrow at 11. The Oracle is live in 2 hours, so we will see you then. Ciao.